Hey everybody, I'm TJ Majors, spotter of the 6 Cup car and the 73 banana eating ARCA driver.
Your fetish with bananas continues.
I can't get away from it. It's crazy.
It's a problem. You need therapy.
You know what? I was bad. I didn't even get my camera on video. So go ahead, finish this, and I'll tell you what really happened.
The fact that you video people eating bananas is a
just like 2
problem.
people.
Brett Griffin, spotter for Richard Childress Racing this year. I was off this weekend at Talladega. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. What's up, Freddie Kraft, spotter Bubba Wallace, Kyle Seek this week. Hi, Casey.
Hey, guys. I don't really know what's going on right now, but, well, it seems we have another special guest. We just, you come to the show and then you win the race.
So I sent out a video this weekend congratulating the Xfinity Series driver.
You look great, by the way.
Dude.
Listen, I was in my backyard building a fire, and I got a lot of texts after I sent my video out because people were concerned about a lot of things, including my sexuality. Because I said,
I have questions.
Next on stage, Jesse Love, and here he is in studio.
Hey everyone. Yeah, you look like a roasted tomato. Awesome. I loved it.
So anyway, let's go back real quick to this banana deal. Did you see how long it took him to figure out how to get a bite of this thing?
So I didn't realize that was my driver. And I'm looking at the screen, I'm like, who's eating the banana with the in-car camera? Then I'm like, oh boy, yep, I'm gonna let it go. Don't say anything.
Did you see this? Did you watch ARCA race?
No.
So he's trying to eat a banana.
Did you just ask me if I watched an ARCA race?
Sometimes you tune in for the
I thought you were there
entertainment.
spotting it. It's weird.
So he's trying to.
The Griffin Funeral Home 500. No, I'm good.
He's got a banana in his hand, and he's like,
trying to figure out how to get in his mouth.
he can't get a
Well,
bite
that's awesome. Yeah, that's happened a lot.
That was a terrible win though, because we were hated it for Andy because we were running 4th and the fuel pump quit, and we were probably going to finish 3rd, something like that. But he needed a solid run, but had a fast car and a shot at it. And the ARCA race was uncharacteristically not entertaining.
Jesse dominated today because he was on the box for the winning ARCA
right.
car,
Yeah.
and then he went ahead and won the Xfinity race.
Yep.
So we don't have to really go through Jesse Love's future, past
His
history.
future, we want to go
Because I think, honestly, I think we
made
made him famous before he was famous.
I made y'all famous.
What's up, Jesse? How are you today?
Nothing much.
How's things going?
Feeling really good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I
lot
text
of
Danny
sleep.
Lawrence, and I basically got you out of your competition meeting this morning.
It's happening right now. They said I was really good on pit road, so I'm pumped
Apparently you
about
sent
that.
bad
I said-
directions too, because
I
Jesse
said,
couldn't
what's he
find
going
the
to
place.
say? I held it wide open and saved a little bit of fuel.
Yeah.
For thanks.
Here we go.
Here's a trophy.
So you actually can say fuel. You're not
Yes,
as bad
I
as
can.
Connor accuses you of being.
We got big mileage. I saved a lot of fuel at Atlanta. I led the entire last stage.
Not enough.
Yeah, it
and
showed.
damn
It wasn't
near-
enough.
And damn near made it.
It wasn't enough.
Damn near made it. But this time I thought about it in overtime and I actually saved enough. And
You know
Did
how many
you-
checker
let me-
flags damn near's won?
Let me ask you a question.
Not many.
How much was it in the back of your mind? Like, as you're running around there, are you even thinking about it, or you just,
no, I was thinking about it.
because
Like, at one point I was on like
I was
15th.
we were gonna give you, listen here, like you missed a block in 3 and 4 that we were gonna give you a lot of for, but luckily it worked out for you.
Here's the thing. If he gets to my inside and then I get shucked to the top and I have no help, then I'm probably screwed for sure. And I've been getting the shuck to the middle all day long. So I was just going to let him. I figured if he just drove by me that I could side draft him really late in the tri-oval and still get down. And my car was very, very fast.
It was
No,
fast.
no kidding.
Like I made like 3 or 4 mistakes in the last 10 laps of the race, and it
didn't matter.
still did not matter.
So as you're making those blocks, you're thinking, I'm gonna run out of gas.
No, I didn't care. That was like my first speedway race where I just did not care if I wrecked or won, and it was phenomenal. It felt
So when
great.
you made the late block on Austin Hill,
yeah, he loved
Yeah.
that.
did you was that a you and a spotter move? Was that a you move? Like what was that move?
That
Because
was,
I gotta know.
Spotter was like, "Get up, get up, get up," and I was just.
You hesitated a little bit. It wasn't as quick as you wanted to be.
Was that sound?
You repeat that.
I was just bopping my way up there.
Listen, there's nothing worse as a spotter when you say get up and the driver just like casually moving
just
up. You're
does
like,
this, like, half-ass.
you're like, I meant get up now. Like stop going slow. Like
Well, that was
yeah.
my mistake. Was I was like, "Are you sure?" Like it was tight.
Well, yeah, that's what we're saying. We're clearing you because we are sure. But if you wait, you're going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
my
he
bad.
cut me
Said the F word.
He cut me a break.
Who knew you could be the first one to crash?
Yeah, I was
today?
gonna say.
Damn.
what?
But then Austin left me like 4 times at the end of the race.
And then you didn't feel bad.
You know who
So I
didn't
did not
cut
feel
him a
bad.
break?
48.
Oh, yeah.
Then he really lost.
Parker cuts no breaks.
Oh, Parker, yeah, he was on a
Cuts
mission.
no breaks.
So
Yeah.
I want to back up just a minute because when you were
Beep,
here,
beep.
literally like a year ago, you were racing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
How in the hell did you end up at RCR full time in the Xfinity Series? Like we talk about dreams coming true. How in the world did that happen?
So, I mean, long story short, and it's not to badmouth anything at Toyota, but I should have gone full-time truck racing, right? I deserved that opportunity. And Corey stayed in the 11, so I was going to go full-time in the 1. And then that opportunity wasn't available after a few months. So I just kept getting knocked down the pecking order when I felt like I did not deserve to be in that situation. So the hardest part was probably getting in the door at RCR, but once I got in the door and met the people, then it was
Schauder
super
helped
easy.
open it.
Yeah, and then it was just super easy once I got there, meet the people, and see the organization firsthand. And it's a lot kind of like how my ARCA team was run, where it's very family oriented and kind of like how I enjoy racing. So it was a fun transition. It was pretty easy. Obviously, got a really good crew chief, and all the people there helped me out a lot. So it was a kind of a no-brainer. But getting in the door was the hard part first.
I would say it happened quick. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I met with them on a Wednesday afternoon or after the shop. Everybody thought it was Carl Edwards. I swear to God, they all had the shop closed down and everything for me to walk in and meet the people, and they thought it was Carl Edwards. But I probably signed the contract a week and a half later.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So Xfinity Series full time, quite the jump. I mean, to be where you were a year ago to where you are now. Biggest surprise you faced in that series?
Saving fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just the details of it. Me and Danny Stockman talk about it a lot, but you don't have to worry about details in ARCA. You can screw up a lot of things and still win the race. You make a mistake on pit road, you make a mistake qualifying, lose stage points, whatever it may be. If you make a mistake, you're screwed for either that stage or if you make it in stage 3 for the rest of the race. So that's the biggest thing for me is the details of the Xfinity Series, and obviously as you move up to the Cup Series, the details get even more severe when you make that mistake. And we're just trying to be mistake-free all weekend, and if you're not, you're in big trouble. So that's been the biggest part for me. Obviously, as a driver standpoint, qualifying is hard because there's such a big delta from practice. You're running so slow at the end of practice, and then you're going 3-4 seconds faster in qualifying. It's ridiculous. So that's another big thing for me right now.
And Brandon Benesh is spotting for you, right?
Yeah, Brandon's
Yeah.
awesome. He did a really
Veteran
good job
guy.
this weekend. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
Benesh.
Brandon. Yep.
I found this out yesterday.
It's not
we've
Benesh?
We've been saying this name wrong
For
the
20
whole
years?
time.
Brandon Benesh?
Benesh.
What?
Yeah, that's what he's like. Yeah, they say Benesh, and it's not my name. I was like, what do you mean it's not your name? That's what I've been calling you for 20
Benesh.
years.
Wow. Well, I feel bad.
Just
I'll
let
let
it
him
go.
go.
Just let it go now.
Just let it go.
Oh, did you boys have fun at Talladega?
No.
I was gonna say.
Somebody was it you last night? Text me about. They said did Reddick or did Tyler even lift? I was like, yeah, he lifted the whole race. He's running half throttle like the rest of us.
That sucks.
No kidding.
How many
was
times did
awful.
you run half throttle in the Xfinity Series race?
Never.
That's
Under yellow when he was saving
only trying
fuel.
to get a push.
Yeah.
Only trying to get a push.
You better not lie. I'm going to go back and look.
Trying to get a push. You're an SMT merchant. Yeah. No, only when I was trying to get a push.
I gotta know, like, so TV, you're watching on TV, Casey, you're watching on TV. I mean, I know you're a little bit more experienced of a viewer. Is it
That's
obvious?
I mean, it
is
depends.
I mean, as drunk as you are, you're about to be
Probably
even
same.
with.
I didn't
but-
start drinking until after the race.
Bull. So, is it obvious on television that we're running half throttle? Are they talking about it?
So yes, it's obvious that you're running slower. It's not obvious you're half throttle. The only tool that we had to go off of visually when they would shoot tight or even wide zoom was the miles per hour that the leader was running, and it was obviously, man, he got 18 miles an hour slower than when you would run wide open. But I pulled up time in the scoring. It was 6 seconds off. Like you would, on our scoring apps, it says best lap time and last lap time. So as a fan of the sport and as somebody who's worked in it, I literally am sitting there and I'm like, they're not racing, they're riding. Here's what I didn't understand about watching it is if I am circumstances get you into different positions, but when you look at Austin Dillon right now, you look at Harrison Burton, you look at, Justin Haley, I could keep going. There were a lot of cars that if they had gotten together and ran full out, if they'd gone 100% throttle, how far ahead of the pack could they have gotten? And would it have put them in a position that after a pit stop it would have mattered? Because, like you look at B.J. McLeod. It was obvious that anybody who was willing to stay in the throttle could lead the race.
Yeah.
Which is super weird. And we've always had Cinderella stories at Daytona, Talladega, mainly Talladega, because handling doesn't come into play. But, I don't understand why nobody just sacrificed speed for fuel savings just to see what would happen.
Toyota's tried to do it. Worked out great for them.
We tried at the end.
Yeah.
It was gonna be.
But y'all weren't running that much faster.
We were pretty fast. We were a second faster.
Would y'all have made that back up?
You don't really need to. You don't need to make the gap up. You just need to make up till you jump them. That's all you're really trying to do.
Yeah.
And we would have easily jumped them, and then it also puts you in a position where it won the race for them because we were talking about it. Unfortunately, it worked out this way, but. You do that, you're making time up on the pack. You're running, we only got about 3 laps into it. And it's basically to, see how they react. Everybody's up there running half throttle. We come in now, we're going to run wide open to the end and make up time. Now, what the are they going to do? What are they going to start running wide open now, put themselves in a bad spot? Or are they going to keep saving and let us catch them or jump them? And at the same time, if a yellow comes out, we all cycle to the lead.
Yeah.
And
on TV, it sounded like y'all running like a 2/10 faster.
Well, there was the lead car was. I looked down one time. The last time I looked, it was 6 or 7 tenths.
Was that the 34?
Denny, I think the 34 was leading, and Denny was the 5th car in line maybe, and he ran like a 70, and they were running 30s. So we were quite a bit faster. I'm sure they were going to react. I don't know what you guys were talking about.
We were starting to go hard. We were going to try to run everybody out.
Yeah. So it's
why were y'all different on fuel? I saw that.
Well, with the last run of the race?
Yeah, because I saw that Matt was selling the 6 to push, and I was wondering.
Yeah, we were trying to push because all the Chevys were trying to save, and we're like, all right, well, let's force their hand to not be able to do it. So if they're running faster, that the group's running faster than they want to run, and we get away, they're going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? They need the group to save fuel, and if that group's hauling ass, they got to run a certain speed. So you push them to a certain speed. And which I feel like it was going to work because if we could have got to second, we can push we pushed the 17 to the lead from
Brad can push,
but the 38 and 34 were trying to save up front, and you can't do that.
What are you trying to say?
Jesse just fits right in on the show.
Listen to the clowns.
If we get TJ mad right here, the show gets all better.
No, that's not going to make me mad.
You just closed your eyes the whole time you were saying that because you're mad.
Well, I usually always close my eyes when you talk because I don't know what's coming out. And but yeah, I don't know. We were just trying to push them out of fuel and put them in a scenario they didn't want to be in. And I think if we could have got the pace fast enough, which I think we were getting there, they didn't want to do it, but I'm down there telling these guys, look, if we don't push these guys, we're going to get beat. So we got to push them and force their hand. And we were just starting to really take off whenever those guys decided they couldn't stay in line.
The goal here is to spend less time on pit road. I get that. But if you're going 4 to 6 seconds a lap slower than top speed, I just don't understand why a Stewart-Haas Racing and some of those guys that are so far down in points and are in must-win scenarios in stage 1 didn't say, hey, let's just go wide open. Because even if it doesn't work out, and I think it would, but even if it doesn't, you're not going to get lapped.
It's not just – so this is what people – there's a lot more to it. And I don't – are we going to talk about is this a segment we're talking about?
Sure. Let's talk about
the fuel saving part.
Yeah, if we don't save fuel, we're going to be the whole and it's not the race's fault. It's the engineers and the teams that have figured out a way to the most efficient way, and that's the most efficient way to do it. But there's a lot more to it than what people think. It's not just a fast pit stop. It is your in lap, your out lap, how many in your group, how quick you get organized, how the driver is on pit road. There's the how fast. There's more to it. There's a lot of things that have to add up to get your track position after the stop. So, which is kind of cool. And without us saving fuel,
do you agree it's not racing?
you're not going as hard as you can, but that's not the fastest way to be. That's not the most efficient way to win the race.
If I were NASCAR, I'll phrase it this way. If I were NASCAR, I would take my two smartest guys. Why? I think I'd do good.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take scoring pylons down at racetracks. I would bring in the two smartest guys in the NASCAR company that are competition related, and I don't know who that is these days. But I would bring those two guys in. Let's just say it's Chad Little and Elton Sawyer because they're former racers and they're now business guys and they're highly intelligent. And then I would pick the two smartest crew chiefs I know and the two smartest drivers I know, and I would sit in a room and I'd say, how do we make it where you guys have to race a full race again? Because right now you're not racing, and it's a 4-hour show with 30 minutes of racing max.
Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no remedy, none. Because if you say, I've seen people say shorten the stages so that it's a fuel. Okay, then we run wide open, you can't pass.
Oh, we will. That's the thing. If we don't have these strategies, we're not passing.
That's a bigger problem.
That's the problem with this package. I've been beating it to death on here. I'm sorry, I beat a dead horse, but you can't pass with this package. That's what when you saw after the big Toyota wreck, the field got 2x2, and what'd they do the rest of the race?
2x2.
2x2.
I saw the third lane.
When I saw Ty Gibbs move up and throw that block on the third lane, I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Well, this is another thing, too. Guys are still throwing blocks in the third lane. When you don't throw a block, you have to build momentum. These guys are going up there slamming the door on guys, and you're stopping
Kills the lane, too.
And that is, remember at Daytona, I preached about do your homework about it. You can't send your guy up there and think it's going to go forward if you're not going forward. You need to be going forward and pulling that lane when you start it.
Even if they were going forward, it wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to go all the way to front, but it would have died like it did.
We had a deal yesterday where there's a number that we had lap time wise that was okay. You can run the third lane right now. Once the pace falls off enough, that means we can run the third lane because they're not running hard enough. We can make it work. Once you get to the end and everybody's running hard, you cannot go to the third lane. It's just not possible. No matter what you do, you might be able to get a little. I seen one time who was up there, Van Gisbergen, and he
had a good run.
He had a good run, but
that's my point.
It just goes backwards after that.
That's my point, though. This is not to discredit Jesse Love, but we could put him in a Cup car tomorrow, and he could go 100% lead the race if he wanted to, because nobody wants to lead. Everybody wants to. There were 70+ lead changes in a race that would normally make it a good
John
lead
Hunter
change.
wanted to lead the heck out of that thing.
It's unfortunate that we're in this position, but when you say there's no remedy, that is partly where I wanted us to get to. There has to be a remedy, or Talladega's.
Let me tell you something. Talladega's because you can't when everybody's running wide open. You're never going to get more than 2x2 side by side going back and forth. Maybe the leader gets clear and goes back and forth. That's it. You can't. There's nothing you can do. So that's why you see the fuel saving, because once you get to that point, if you don't have track position, you're just along for the ride.
So Eric Jones during the race made a comment saying we're running 20 miles per hour off full speed right here. I put my throttle down 1/8 and drove by 15 people. And he's talking about how should people be penalized a lap if they're only going. If they're not running max speed. And obviously, he was referencing that 100% rule, which Bob clarified it doesn't apply. But
that rule died when Brian France got fired.
Okay.
I think.
But is that something that could be a potential solution of penalizing drivers for
No, you can't penalize a guy for not going wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the strategy.
Yeah, somebody was on Twitter last night, commented the teams ruined this race. I'm like, it ain't the teams. They're doing whatever gets them to win the whatever strategy, whatever they have to do to win the race. That's what they're all going to do. They're just playing with the cards they're dealt, and this is the only way to win the race.
There is a big chess match going on during that race with all of us out there.
Oh, listen, I
mean, there's still a lot happening.
You're still spotting, you're trying to manipulate a lot of things in that first, and it's all before the pit stop of each stage. So you're trying to manipulate, where you're at in line, saving fuel, but you want to be the front half of the field.
Who are you pitting
fuel.
with? How many are you pitting with? Are you pitting? Are you pitting from the second lane? Are you coming with this group? Don't get down there in the bumps and spin out like your favorite guy. I mean,
it's just it's the worst form of super speedway racing I've ever done, and I said on the first show we did after Daytona 500 when this car debuted. This car is garbage at super speedway races. I've said on here multiple times, this car has ruined the best stuff about our sport. Short tracks and super speedways. It's great on 1.5 miles, most of them, but I mean, that all we're going to hang our hat on? It sucks at road courses. Like it's obviously easier to drive at road courses, and these guys haul ass there. But the road course races suck. The short track races suck. Now the speedway races suck. Like, what are we doing?
Here's what's weird too is I'm gonna lean on Jesse for this. You went out, won the Xfinity Series race. You gained a ton of experience.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in your shoes yesterday and you were a rookie in that race, there's not a ton of opportunity for you to learn how to throw blocks, what the air is going to do, because you're not racing 100% of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Shane learned a lot about how to go win a cup race yesterday. I mean, he learned, obviously, some how to save fuel, but that's just such a weird form of racing right now, and it sucks to watch because the entertaining when you're 3 wide, 4 wide is cool, but you know they're not going to wreck, which is a good thing that they're not going to tear up stuff, but you know that they're not driving 100%. And that's like, as a fan, because I was a fan yesterday watching the race, was a frustrating part. We qualified an Xfinity car, single car draft or single car run at like 181, and they're running 175, 179. It's crazy to think about. And then when it's like, okay, it's go time, and I was watching the race with somebody, and I was like, here's where it'll get a little bit more dicey. And right as I said that, it was stupid because then they all got double file and just rode in a line.
Back
and then all it is a tug of war between the top lane and bottom lane. Sometimes leader can kind of go top bottom, but it's just I don't know. I'm not educated enough to even comment on what they need to do to fix it, but. It is frustrating to watch.
Well,
I feel like Dale Earnhardt would roll over in his grave over what we're doing at these places.
So like getting ready for Daytona. There's a kid that's spotting now that I helped get a job. And before Daytona, he's like, let's go over some stuff. And I'm like, man, I said, what? He was going to spot both races. And I'm like, the Xfinity race is going to be way harder to spot than the Cup race. Like, and that's obviously not the way it should be. But the Cup race is just get in line, manage your gaps out front, and
for
roll
what,
like
2-3 laps,
like like you're not. It's the easiest it's ever been to spot. I mean, there's stuff you can like. There's ways that you have to make some moves to get track position wise, but other than that, you're just all right. Just ride in line here. You're in line. Go ahead, save fuel. Like whatever. Like it's just. It's frustrating because you put so much. TJ did, you did, Jesse does now. You put so much time and effort into getting good at something, watching film, learning tendencies, how to get good at plate racing, and now that's all been crumpled up in a ball and thrown out the window because it doesn't matter anymore. Like,
it's just different. It's just evolving into something else.
Like Ty Gibbs, the move Ty Gibbs made yesterday was a great move 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that was a move that would have propelled him forward and probably to the lead. But yesterday with this car, it doesn't go anywhere.
KB did the same thing, and he moved up, and I was like, oh, sweet, like that's going to roll. And then I had not been thinking about you have to have, forward momentum when you pull a line, all that stuff. I was just like, hell yeah, let's go, KB. And it went straight to the back, and it's just ridiculous. In an Xfinity car, it would have tugged that lane hard.
He took
and
to
killed
Twitter.
the other lane.
He took to Twitter after that and
I
said,
saw that. Oh my
He was
God.
ride
hardcore.
in line, finish where you are, try the race for a win, and finish last. That he hates these cars. I mean,
Is that what he said?
yep.
Oh, he was pretty vocal.
he really hated
The
these
thing
cars
about
this
that
year.
top line
Just a
is
little bit.
the only way the top line had any chance scientifically of working is when the first 2 cars got tandem, and it would carry them to about the 4th row. But the second they were not tandem, anchors out and they're going backwards.
I think I'm not sure if we could, but I think the best shot would probably be Brad and Chris leading the lane, and someone that could stay with us behind us.
I don't know what Chris had going on yesterday. I don't know if he was saving that hard or there was a couple times up top like
When he was
killed
leading the
our
lane?
line. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all saving.
I know we were saving, but there was one
Yeah.
time we weren't saving. Like we're end of the stage riding, and he killed our lane one time. I don't know if somebody turned him and got loose, or like we're
Yeah,
going down a backstretch, and I'm like,
I
think
saw
the
that stack
17th
up.
broke. Like guys, like he's
Yeah.
leading our line. We're back. We lost 5 rows. I was like, what's going
something
on?
had to happen because it looked out of place.
Herm said he said I don't know. He's like we just lost. He goes I was there. Everybody's talking up there, so he's like I really wasn't watching.
Speaking of broke, did you know it's cheaper to tear down a scoring pylon than to change a few light bulbs in it?
Really?
I feel like we kind of brought some attention to the pylons going missing at Texas
I feel
last
like
week.
Denny brought a lot of attention to the pylons missing.
And as he should.
How do
And so it was said by a NASCAR spokesperson, according to Jordan Bianchi, and I thought it was Elton Sawyer, but it wasn't. It was Mike Ford, that they were outdated, needed to come down. And then I saw where Chip Wild told Denny that they were to service the people in the infield. I've been going to races since I was 4 years old. First thing I do when I get there, when I walk inside of the grandstand area or in the infield or anywhere in the garage is look up at the scoreboard. So to say that people in the grandstands don't use a scoreboard is the most ignorant thing I've potentially ever
You can
heard.
be anywhere in the track and see if there's a practice going on, and you're like, who's fast? Okay. You don't have to go reposition yourself to see a screen.
I seen yesterday, or I talked to an official yesterday that was capturing cars on pit road after the race or after qualifying, and he's like, we don't know. That's how we rely on, all right, who's the top 5? All right, we got to capture these 5 guys. You know, he's like, somebody tell me who we got to capture here because we don't know. You know, yesterday, you know, you as you know, both of you know, Jesse, you don't never spotted, but you know, you're in your binoculars. I don't know, 75% of a lap there. So you're not. I would make sure I would scan by the scoreboard so you can see it. You know, I see. Now, yesterday, I had to find myself taking my binoculars down and looking down at the TV screen to see how many laps there was left. You know,
And I'll tell you this, the thing didn't change all the time at exactly the start-finish line.
exactly right.
And it would change in the middle of 1 and 2, so I'd look down and be like, all right, 12 to go. Look up and say, it's 11 to go.
And there's times yesterday I looked down. They're playing a replay. And when they play a replay, there's nothing on the screen. It's just a replay.
You know how sometimes on the big screens when they would show a wreck on the track somewhere and you glance at it, you're like, oh, they're wrecking. Like, that's scarier now.
Like
This made my blood boil. Like taking
I couldn't
these
tell.
scoreboards down. That's what they are, a scoring pylon. For me to be there as a paying fan and not know. I mean, Talladega, boom, they come by. And you're like, man, no, where's my driver? You'd have to look on the scoreboard to figure it out. Now you don't even have that tool.
And I don't know what they meant by outdated. There's a lot of things way more outdated than the damn scoring pylon at Talladega.
You're going to get called to holler for that.
Well, I just don't know what they mean.
he's right.
I don't know what they mean by that.
That's why I said it. So you're telling me it's cheaper to tear the scoreboard down than it is to change a few light bulbs and update it?
You look at
That's
North
bullshit.
Wilkesboro.
Sorry, Andrew.
North Wilkesboro, they had a very outdated scoreboard. Obviously, I mean, they hadn't used it in 15, 20 years since we've been there. What did they do? They kept the scoreboard and or a pylon and redid it with LED lights to make it look, you know, the vintage what it used to look like. Like you're telling me you couldn't do that?
But the same
Talladega?
company just tore 2 scoring pylons down in Texas.
yeah.
So is this an industry move that they've decided? And these people, quote, thought about it? No, you didn't think about it. And you didn't consult with people who actually come to events.
No. And when I seen the thing that said like, well, you know, you have the app on your phone. That's exactly what we want people to do. Like, don't watch the race. Look at your phone the whole time.
That don't work.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we have our own Wi-Fi on the roof, so I don't know. But I've got to guess. Like, Talladega is one of the notorious places that
it doesn't work. Your phone don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now maybe that Wi-Fi was a little better. I don't know. I can't comment on that. But even if it does work, I don't want people looking at their phone the whole race. Like
That's the other funny part is they were like, well, it only really helped the people in the infield. How many people are in the Talladega infield?
a lot. You know, I'm talking about going. The Rangers are in the playoffs right now, and they're playing in DC, or they're playing in DC on Friday, and it's not far from Dover. So I'm talking about I might go to the game on Friday night, and I'm like, just think about it, there's no scoreboard. Like, so looking at my phone and see what the score is, or how much time's left in the period. Like,
I like
it's
even
a scoreboard for a reason.
remember Fontana's scoreboard. Remember it had if you were down a lap, it had minus
-1
one next to
yeah.
your number and stuff, and it will way down.
I assume
too.
that one's torn down too now.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's not.
Whoever
it's
said
not
take the
still there.
scoreboard down should be fired.
Still there?
For now.
It'll be gone.
What if they just put up new ones that are better? Can he have his job? Whoever.
He can have his job
If
back.
they listen and put up new scoreboards, they can have their job back.
Do you think we'll have a new scoreboard at Talladega when we go back?
Nope.
You don't think so?
I doubt it.
I'd rather look around that scoring pylon than spot down in turn 3 on the bottom.
100%. Like
You
Martinsville,
can't even see the cars.
Martinsville, they put that thing up in the middle. Like you miss a part of the backstretch because they put
I
that
don't-
big screen up there.
I'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying remember, you can't even see the cars in the 3 at Talladega because at the bottom they built that berm up on the bank, the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the RV park. You
Yeah,
spotted
I've
it last
spotted
year.
since then.
Like the RV park now, you like, all right.
hard to
Like
see,
Harrison,
man.
I think it was Harrison last year got turned.
You couldn't
And
even tell.
I had no idea. Like
Yeah.
he just disappeared. I was like, where the 21 go?
Yeah.
There you go.
Another trending topic from the week was Steve O'Donnell's comments around charter agreements and how they are close to reaching an agreement. What are you guys hearing on that one?
It's just kind of weird that comes out, and then the first thing that comes out from the ownership side is they've had no movement. Which one do you think's accurate?
I'm gonna go with the no movement side. Because there seemed like there's one guy that said they were close, and just about every owner that I've seen.
I actually called a team executive last week to ask him point blank. What'd you say?
I said, which one?
I can't tell you. I called a team executive, Casey, and I said, where are you guys at on this charter agreement? Because we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, it's a really big deal. And then you see that they say that they're close to a deal. And literally the words to me was, we haven't heard from them. So no movement is a bad
I
thing.
seen where Denny said that there was like the 3 or 4 main bullet points that they're trying to address was there's no consent.
Here's and this is one of the sticking points. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but if you owned something and they told you you could have this worth for 7 years, but you thought that your position in the sport was worth it for a lifetime, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like me giving you a charter, and I'm telling you, all right, Freddie, I'm going to let you have this for 7 years. And you go, no, I want it forever. Like, if I'm invested here, I want it forever. And they go, no, you can't have it forever. We're going to basically let you have it for 7 years. So, essentially, you're building your house on land that you do not own.
Yeah.
And then the landowner could come back in 7 years and go, I'm taking the house from you. So I think a big sticking point in this thing, Casey, is these guys don't want to have to negotiate this charter agreement every 5 years or 7 years, nor would I if I were an owner. I would want to know that my investment, think about how much money Matt Collick has spent in the last 3 years. Think about how much money Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan have spent in the last 3 years. Think about how much money Justin Marks has spent in the last 3 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years, however long he's been around with Trackhouse. Like, it's hard to tell me to build a mansion on land I don't own.
Yeah, I mean, you look at who bought Spire by BJ's charter last
Spire.
year? $40 million they spent last year on that charter. And right now, there's no guarantee they're going to have, it might get taken away from them next year.
That would be insane. And there's new money coming in right now. Like, when you look at Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, obviously Fenway was a partner 15, 18 years ago. They came in. Richard Childress took on an investor. There's a lot of new money being. I mean, we hear Michael Andretti's name a lot right now. We hear that he potentially, Gamebridge was involved in this Spire thing. So that's a good thing. But if there's no long-term plan, it's a gamble.
eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Before we head into Spot On, Spot Off, of course, we want to congratulate 2311 and our friend Tyler Reddick on the win yesterday. A lot came out of the race, but I will say having MJ in victory lane and seeing how excited he was might have been a highlight.
How old do you think Bo's going to have to get before he realizes that Michael Jordan was holding him in victory lane? Like,
I'm not going to lie. When Alexa passed
I thought he was holding Tyler.
When Alexa passed
Somebody said look the same.
Bo to MJ, you see Bo's face like, I don't know who this
Who
man
the hell is this guy? And then MJ never gave him up. Like, I saw on pit road, Alexa handed Bo to MJ, and then I never saw him without Bo until like they got into victory lane celebrations. I see him in victory lane. Tyler's pulling in. MJ still got Bo in his hands. I did see the comments that said it would look the same if he picked Tyler up like that. So
It would be, yeah.
Well, really cool. It's awesome to see that this team is growing and how happy everyone was.
Yeah, it was awesome to see just their reaction. And listen, we talked about teamwork and stuff like that. If you notice, which obviously our plan, whether it was going to work or not, we ended up looking pretty foolish, all wrecking ourselves. But
y'all didn't all wreck yourselves. Just one guy wrecked you.
Is it worse than like coming off of turn 4, running 1, 2, 3 as a manufacturer and not winning the race? Because they did everything they could. They did everything right. If you go back and watch. Me and Lambert were riding to the airport because we were unfortunately out of the race. Me, Lambert, and Stevie, and you look and see the 10 and somebody else were behind the 19 and 45. And I'm like, they're going to stop pushing. They're just going to stop pushing.
Yeah.
So down the back straightaway, all of a sudden you see them just back up, and that's when you guys all get clear on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think it was because of them. They didn't back off right then.
Yeah, they did. Like,
you really think those guys are just going to sacrifice it?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but they backed off. There was a giant gap between the 19 and the 10, so they did something different. And you didn't just randomly get the 3 cars clear on the bottom. No, Fred.
Oh, really? You don't think we didn't plan that ahead?
No. No. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you planned. Oh, what are you talking about?
we don't know what we're doing at play rate. We just randomly got
Jesse's
clear. We
looking
could have
like,
pushed the 34 out clear whenever we wanted to.
Okay. If you go back and watch the fucking replay of the back straightaway, the
watched it
10
live.
car, does the 10 car not back off the 19?
The 10 car,
Does he not back off the 19?
they were getting spread out before that.
Does he not back off the 19?
I don't know. I'm
TJ?
not watching him. I'm watching my car.
I said go back and watch the replay. There's a 2-car gap between the 10 and the 19 because they backed off to stop pushing a Toyota to the win. That's why 3 cars got clear on
So
the bottom.
you think the 2 Toyotas on the top could have pushed to the win? Because you're a idiot if you think that's right.
Obviously, they couldn't. They needed help. Is my point. They needed help and they didn't get it because the Fords backed off of them.
I don't think you're getting them to back off.
I've never heard TJ curse more in
Well, I think it's what you're coming to the checker flag and you're sitting here telling me guys are lifting from 3rd row back because they're not. Those guys, we're sitting there
All I
waiting
can tell
to
you
push
is
the guy.
there's a gap.
When I saw Noah get up, I think it was Noah. I literally said, if he doesn't push right here, this top lane's dead.
And what happened?
They didn't
He
go.
stopped pushing and the top lane died.
Tyler Reddick was 5th and backing up coming off turn 4.
Oh, weird. That's just because TJ planned it that way. God, my God. I mean, Jesus Christ.
We just randomly got clear on the bottom by not pushing ahead. Yeah, we just randomly got clear, Freddie.
You did. You just randomly
It
got clear
randomly
because the
worked out
top
because
lane
of that.
stopped pushing each other.
Y'all aren't supposed to cuss a lot on this
or
show
the bottom
today.
lane
Just
knew what they were doing.
beat the whole beat the whole thing out.
My hand has just hovered over the curse
It
marker
is.
at this point.
It's our first plate
Well,
race. We don't know how to
welcome back
manipulate
in.
a
No, it
run.
looked like your first plate race coming off before. You all wrecked each other and didn't win the race.
We didn't wreck anybody. Well, one guy tried to cover the entire track.
All right.
God.
Well,
I don't think Jesse's been to bed
Brett,
yet.
okay, so Brett,
Yes.
what did it look like to you?
Well, when I saw the 10 get up, I literally said in my mind, if he stops pushing, a Ford wins this race.
I honestly thought the
and-
10 stayed on the bottom.
And ironically, that lane died.
Just so you guys know,
I
I'm pretty
think-
sure the 10 was on the bottom.
He may have been on the bottom, but I watched
was it the
somebody
4?
get up.
Who-
I don't
no, it
know.
was
I
the
mean,
10.
you watched the replay. You tell me.
It was
you
the
know
4.
all.
One of the. It was the.
They
it
look
was the
just
4 or the
alike.
10. They were identical cars.
I will give you that because they look alike.
One of them got behind the 19 and stopped pushing down the backstretch. That's all there was to it. Like, whether or not it was planned, whether he was backing up, they stopped pushing down the back straightaway, and that's why the bottom lane got clear.
Well, one thing I'll say about Michael Jordan, since we're talking about Michael
I've been
Jordan,
trying to shift to spot on, spot off for like 10 minutes.
is my son, who has a lot of access to our sport. Obviously, all my kids do. My son is more excited about Michael Jordan being at the racetrack than anything that could happen in the NASCAR
That's
world.
all-
And my point of that is, when I look at Jesse Love, who is 19 years old, like, we have got to figure out a way to go back and connect to teenagers and young people, and we've got to get them excited about our sport. We're not going to do it riding around at 60% throttle because their dads ain't going to take them to the racetrack. So, Michael Jordan, thank you for being there. I'm glad you won the race, and it's a big deal. I would imagine that every sports show in America today.
Do fans not like the 3 wide, like the strategy part of it? Because I mean,
it's
You're not racing, TJ.
You
You're
are
not.
racing, but you're
okay.
like,
Imagine you're
I'm
an NFL
just saying.
guy. You're an NFL guy. Let's have a route to where your wide receiver runs
Walking.
a 60%
walk routes.
Walk your route. Is that going to be exciting for a fan to watch who understands racing?
that's what Stephon Diggs did the last part of the year.
Stephon Diggs is out. They fired him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Are you going to watch the NFL game if it's flag football for half
Tell
the
me
game?
this: what's more exciting, that what you saw, or is 2x2 and nobody passing anybody?
Oh, no. Yeah. Listen,
I don't want that.
I don't want that either. But it's literally it's the Brett's point.
either gonna have
watching
to be
football.
that-
It's watching football if they couldn't run.
It's either going to be the strategy and the drivers manipulating the fuel and or engineers and all that, calling a race like that, or we need to do something. We need to put the wicker bill on the top and get them where they can go 18 wide.
I
at the
tweeted last
line.
night you would like this package, and I tweeted last night that Freddie would.
I
not.
don't necessarily like the package. I just don't think I don't want
I
it to
think
be
it's
a free,
garbage.
I don't want it to be a free for all. I want it to be back where
If
you
you're
build a fast car.
if you're a
but
professional athlete and you're not operating at 100% of your talent level, then you're not a professional athlete that I need.
All right. Well, there's plenty of topics in spot on, spot off where we can chat about this more. So
We still have another
let's-
segment?
Just a few. Let's kick it. Joey Logano shares on Sirius XM earlier this week that he is jealous of how much off-throttle time the Xfinity cars have compared to the next gens. Jesse.
He should be. I mean, I'm spot on with that because Xfinity car is the most fun thing that I've ever driven on pavement. Obviously, no, it's not a sprint car or something, but Phoenix, we're dead sideways almost every lap. You go to Texas was the only kind of cooler, I thought, where it was hard to pass and not much fun. But everywhere else I've been to, you are just hung out sideways, right? Even if you're tight, you're able to rip the thing off the wall and create a bunch of yaw moment and make a lot of speed that way, which is kind of how I like to drive it. And it just looks fun to drive on TV, and then you get in the car and it's even more fun to drive. So the Xfinity stuff is, I think, definitely the best show every week. And it's, I think, because we have a lot of horsepower and not a lot of downforce and less tire than the Cup car, and it just works out that way. So I think I'm spot on for that one.
Have you made laps? I mean, obviously not in a Cup car, but
No.
like on a sim or anything? No.
Well, iRacing.
Yeah.
But I can,
iRacing.
like, as a driver, you can tell how something drives just by kind of like watching people do their deal inside the car. And it just looks like you have a ton of grip and then you have none, and you're just on that razor's edge the whole time of trying to figure out where that limit is. So that's what I kind of can see the Cup car drives like, and it doesn't look a ton of fun.
Listen, Xfinity Series, we talk about it all the time how great it is, and Joey Logano is a talented race car driver, a Hall of Fame guy, and he's absolutely right. I mean, and Jesse's telling you everything that makes the Xfinity Series cars so great. They do slide around. You know, you can drive it in deeper and miss the corner and save the car. Like when these cars get sideways in the Cup car, you're wrecked. There is no saving the car. So I'm spot on for what, Joey said here. I'm also curious as to what TJ just found on his phone, because I know he was looking at data.
I just had to switch my what an idiot. That's all.
I'm pretty sure he has data set for the next few topics.
I've had my one idiot for a week now.
Freddie,
so.
spot on, spot off.
Well, and even though he's an idiot, TJ brought a good point about it in the past of how much you can manipulate guys. You could drive up somebody's quarter panel there, or up to their bumper, or pack air on their left rear, and you can make things happen with.
You
the
have
car in front of
offensive
you.
weapons.
Yeah, you have ability to affect the other guy. Like our cars now, we can't do that. It seems like. So that's the biggest thing for me is, you can race around each other on top of, and the reason why you can race around each other is because you're off the throttle. You know what I mean? Like we talked, like Danny, I think it was talking about Martinsville. I think maybe Cindric was a lap car holding him up, and he's like, I was trying to punt this guy out of the way because he was holding me up, and I couldn't get to him. He's like, I couldn't do it. He's like, as much as I wanted to hit him, I couldn't do it. So that's the biggest difference for me. And then obviously it's just, we talk about it every week. It's a better race. Like you watch them, and it's just, I mean, could you imagine those cars with another 200 horsepower? Like that would be unbelievable. But it is what it is, and it's just,
The Cup driver that's having the most fun is probably Eric Almirola and driving the Xfinity car. Like seeing him, I don't know Eric before he went doing the Xfinity stuff, but he looks like he's having a lot of fun doing it.
I mean, who was it? Ross? Was it Ross that came on here and talked? He said it's way more fun to drive the Xfinity car versus the Cup car. Like it's just, you can just, a race car driver like you or somebody that's grew up racing, and especially dirt world or dirt background, or just anybody that really wants to race is going to have more fun driving that Xfinity car than they are driving the Cup car.
I think Eric's having fun because he's in really fast cars too.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
If he wasn't in super fast cars racing up front, I don't know if he'd be having as much fun. But he's got compared to a lot of guys in that series, he's got tons of experience. He's been a Cup driver for how many years? 10, 12, 15?
I mean, more than that.
Something. Yeah, 15 years. And obviously a talent too. And he goes there and he knows how to put a race together. But the cars are hard to drive. And we saw it with the Cup cars at Bristol. When the driver came into play more, you saw the guys that have been around longer and been in part of that situation before, they rose to the top more too. Like Denny, Martin, Brad have been around forever. They've had to drive cars where you had to manage and do things. And I think, a 500-mile Xfinity race with the Cup drivers would be fun. I mean, could you imagine that? Put it on any track you want, anywhere now.
We talked about this next topic quite a bit earlier. Fuel mileage racing is the future of speedway racing. Spot on, spot off, Brett.
I think it's the now.
Well, Martin Truex said it's the future. It is. It's been the now for a while, and they've got to fix the future. Or speedway racing. I mean, you look at Atlanta Motor Speedway, right? The new Atlanta. It's exciting to watch from beginning to end in these Cup cars. And
That's
if they
your
go
mom?
out there and go out there and ride around at 50, 60% throttle, it's not going to be.
Well, they do that there. We do it there.
I mean, it's
Yeah, we're still doing it there.
man.
The difference about Atlanta is the
the
width.
optics.
Well, it's just everything, instead of being this wide, is this wide. And You can get into a bad scenario at Atlanta though. Like it's just narrow into 3, and you can.
I don't know. They got to figure out a way to fix this.
I mean, well, Martin
Why don't the Xfinity cars do it?
I don't.
So
what?
if y'all take 4 tires, then you're full on fuel or no?
I don't
You're
think
still
we're
waiting.
ever
No,
full.
no.
You're
Not well. Are you empty?
Yeah,
Depends on how much you're putting in.
Yeah.
If you're getting a full tank, you run a full fuel run. Yeah, oh yeah, you're gonna win on fuel. They can change the tires quicker than they can take fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an issue. Like us, like we are kind of taking 2 right sides or left sides or whatever based off how much fuel we're putting in the thing. Where if y'all were wearing out the tires a ton and you're forced to take 4 every stop, it can open that. Up a
I mean,
little bit.
I don't. I
But you
really,
can't be changing tires. In
It's
8
hard to
seconds.
speak to it, but I don't know that we. Did
Yeah,
you?
I don't
know that you ever filled the car yesterday. It was like just enough to get to this mark, then just enough to get to this mark.
You only filled it under the stage brakes.
Yeah.
Because we came down coming to the one to go. We did it the first time, and only a few cars did it. But from there on out, everybody did it. Coming, I mean, there was how many cars single file? It was like a single file restart.
Yeah.
It looked like an old school restart with lap cars on the inside. There was like 6 or 8 cars, 2 double wide, and the rest were single file. But
Yeah, we came to. I thought we were kind of planning on being the only ones to come down pit road, and I looked
it's
and
full.
I was like, everybody's coming.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of them things. Like, you know how at plate races, a lot of times guys will pit off sequence just to be away from everybody, so you don't have an issue on
to
pit
not
road.
hit each other on pit road, to not spin out.
So then we all come. Where I would just come at one to go, and you come at one to go, and you're like, all right, well, here comes everybody but like 3 cars. It's like, oh, now we put ourselves back in this box.
yeah, I just feel like it's gonna if we switch it the other way and everybody can run over each other and we can get the huge runs and be 8 wide across the line, we're gonna have multiple big wrecks every single race.
What did y'all think about Corey LaJoy wrecking exiting pit road because of the puddles?
I don't know
Did he
why
wreck?
he hit it. Those puddles were there. I mean, I told Brad, when you're leaving pit road, you need to be at least a car length away from the yellow line because it's wet.
I didn't know he spin out.
Oh yeah, he spun out.
Leaving pit road, exiting pit road, he hit the puddles and he spun out to the left. No,
He
caution.
got out on the yellow line where it was really wet right there.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it was obviously it wasn't like
it was wet.
It was
no, it wasn't
wet.
like it snuck up on you. Like it was
So,
there.
do you think it's okay? It was wet.
Well, I mean, it looked like weepers to me. Like it wasn't. I think
yeah, I
they
don't-
dried it, and I think it just weeped.
It wasn't on the actual racing. You had to try to go hit that stuff if you were going to hit it. Like you had to actually go up there and do it. And it didn't bother me. I didn't think it was an issue.
So you think Corey just was the only guy that was dumb enough? To
I
drive
saw the
through
16 get on it and about spin out, but he saved it. I mean, it's no different than. I mean, we used to race with stuff like that at Fontana. We had weepers. Hey, this wet road, stay away from it. Like and it was literally like you had to go up there. It was on the yellow line and above. So if you were on the yellow line right there, you were risking it, and I didn't see it being an issue.
I mean, it wasn't. It was only an issue for one guy. So.
I mean, I didn't, and I told Brad about it. I'm sure. Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see him
Stay
wreck,
away from
Jesse? You see what I'm talking about?
I didn't see that on TV at all.
They also blamed Denny wrecking on hitting water.
I heard that, and I didn't see any water.
No,
over
that
there.
was pretty dry.
I listened to the full broadcast yesterday. Usually I have to mute it after a while, but I listened to the whole thing. And then when they were like, Denny ran through the water, I'm like, man, I don't see any water.
So
How about-
you mute Clint?
Yes, you have to mute Clint. I'd like to mute Clint a lot.
How about?
We had Clint so mad last week on text messaging, Casey. It just so happens that when you guys see something you don't like in the broadcast, I see it too, and I text Clint immediately.
I get a text. I don't know how much he texts Clint, but I will get a text with Brett and Clint in it about 17 times a race, and it's just Brett.
Here was my
MF
text
and
yesterday.
Clint.
What dumb at Fox NASCAR thinks that we want to see the intervals as a fan on the scoring pylon that's on the television? We only want to see how fast they're running or what manufacturer they're in.
You know the intervals.
listen,
are important
He didn't
in
reply to
television?
that one.
I will tell you,
Weird.
and I've watched a couple Xfinity races this year. The worst thing that I've noticed about the broadcast is the choose. It is completely backwards on the screen,
On the screen,
how
yeah.
it should look. I get so screwed up looking at that thing. I can't. It is completely backwards on how it looks.
Text Clint next time that you see it.
We'll add you in our group.
It is so bad. Like, and I do it every week, so it's like it should come naturally. I'm like, wait a minute, who chose where? That's not right.
Yeah, it looks like
So yesterday,
the lanes are flopped.
yesterday
Oh
they went
my
to come
God.
So we're watching this race, and it's not super entertaining, but it's all right, right? But they get to the point to where Buescher makes that move and that save, we went straight to commercial. And I text Clint. And Freddie was in this thread. And I was like, what dumbass thought it was a good idea to go to commercial at literally the climax of what we've watched so far?
How many times do you start a text with "what dumb"?
A lot. And so
I guess
Clint
almost
sent
most
back
of
a
them.
full-blown essay as
Those
to
are-
why we had to go to commercial.
Most of his tweets start like that too,
I was
Casey.
laughing. When I looked at my group me last night, there was 77 messages from DBC, and I was like, I can't read all these.
I couldn't either.
I was at Big Al's, and I looked. The one that I picked was Andrew. Andrew, who's here today. Thanks, Andrew, for coming by.
Yeah. Welcome back.
He had one that was like, what was it? The Christopher Bell one. It was like, there's a big one at Talladega, and it's a picture of the DoorDash logo on the screen. Like they're wrecking, but it's just like we're a commercial.
Oh no,
Oh yeah, it happens
That's not
just a
good.
few times.
That wreck was something. I mean,
it caught me off guard.
I was like, how
"Who's
the hell are we
wrecking?"
wrecking? We're running half
Yeah.
throttle.
And then somebody said the magic words, which was, "Who's involved?" I'm like, "Yep."
Speaking
I'm so
of
shocked.
wrecking, spot on, spot off, Michael McDowell throws a late block on the final lap, starting a multi-car crash. TJ,
He threw more than one late.
spot on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm really spot on for that. I mean, as much as you just praise Tyler for driving up there and winning the race with nothing going on, like he just drove through everything
Just
and made
don't
it.
lift.
Yeah, great win for Tyler though, and them. But like that's the thing of plate racing, you just be in the right spot. To me, he was out of the race off of turn 4. Like he wasn't going to win.
Yeah, he was out of the race down of extras, honestly.
and-
When the Ford lifted.
and it didn't, which he didn't lift. But I'm glad you think he did. If it
didn't
makes
lift.
you sleep tonight, he lifted.
I mean, he obviously he didn't lift, but he backed off him. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just how it worked out. I'm telling you.
I mean, I forgot you were so good at the bottom.
I don't know. The block, like you can't. He blocked high, like way high, all the way to the damn wall high, and then all the way to the yellow line bottom. You just can't do that.
It looked to me like he was wrecking before he even got to the bottom. Like when he was just
he was
hooked
coming
up.
down there.
Yeah.
I don't like when you're making that move. You know the guy is pretty much going to be there. You're just going to wreck yourself. I don't know where at some point like you have to know. Okay, I'm just going to have to side draft him here and slow him down. Maybe I'll get a push or something. Like you're still going to finish top 3 or 4 probably, right? Or top 5 at worst. I don't know why. Like I don't know. It's hard.
So you helped that spotter get that gig, right?
Yeah, Michael.
McDowell's
Yeah, he
spot.
does a good job.
did a good
Fisher
job.
did a good job.
So
yeah.
what was his role in all that? Did you talk to him? Did you swing at him?
No, he was standing right next to me
Swing at
actually.
him?
Did you elbow him?
And I was like, dude, you can't block that many lanes like that. And he's like, I know, and that was it.
So I mean, we talk about on here. You got to do what you can. Michael McDowell is currently 26th in points, and you're leading off of turn 4, and that's maybe
Must
your
win.
only shot to get in the playoffs. And that's all he's thinking about right there. And I think he owned it afterwards. I
He
saw
did.
one
He did.
interview.
His interview was really good.
I saw one interview. He's like, man, that's it. Like that's I'm doing what I got to do to win the race. It's like it is what it is. And
the first block was what you were having to
Yeah.
do to win the race. The
With-
second block is you're taking yourself pretty much out of the race.
And he was late.
Yeah,
Well,
dude,
he's just
if you're
chasing.
coming from the wall to the apron, you're going to be late on it. Like it's just not.
He was late. So speaking of late, Jesse Love wins the race Saturday, and Honeymoon was that guy's name? Honeyman.
Yep.
He was running at what looked like on TV 10 miles an hour faster than you.
6 mile an hour.
6 miles an hour, according to data. Jesse's also got
Jesse's
data.
got data.
Good thing him and TJ.
You should take a look at it, Freddie.
So
It's
he's
good
6
stuff.
mile an hour faster than you. It was stupid how early this dude pulled out. How easy was that to block for you?
Well, I was. So like if I were you, I would I don't spot off what Michael did, right? Because when I was in my position where I did a terrible job getting way too far out.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
And I was like, oh, dude, it was so like obviously at that point in the race, I'm in a superior car to the people around me with everybody kind of running out. So it was very easy to get far out. And when Honeyman was coming with that big run, I was like, oh God. And but I was in not the same position as Michael, but in probably the same thought process where I was like, I'm just gonna block or wreck. Like I don't care
Yeah.
at this point. Because like at the same point, like I just want to get locked in, dude. That's all I want to do. And then obviously I saw him just start pulling out of line, and it made it very easy to just have him push me away with the bubble and kill the run. But
So if he was 6 mile an hour faster than you when he was catching you, he would probably have been 8 miles an hour faster than you when he actually caught
Got to
you.
you.
But he pulled out 2 car lengths before he got there. I was watching on TV, and obviously I'm pulling for you. And I told my stepdad, Roy, I was like, well, Honey Man just won the race.
Honey man.
I don't think he was going to get
here comes
there.
a big run. He's
Are we
coming.
talking the
Yeah.
backstretch or the tri-oval?
Backstretch, I think.
Okay.
That was 2 days ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
NASCAR does not call the caution until after Tyler Reddick crosses the start-finish line. Oh, I'm going to have to throw this to you, TJ.
You just started with me last time.
I'm going to do it again. Sorry.
I'm spot
You're on a
off.
roll here.
I'm spot off because, you go back and look at.
You would have won.
It's not only that.
I thought you won.
I thought
you
we
did
probably
too.
would have won, but
Yeah.
it's still you got a guy there. It's bad. Like when you're standing there, it's rough. Like
The yellow doesn't come out, and Corey LaJoy is sliding down the front stretch on his door.
well, I mean,
There's
to
no-
me, the yellow should have came out when McDowell's hitting the wall head on in front of the field. Like, so I went back and looked, and I went back to the last race, Texas, where Brian Blaney gets punted up the racetrack 3 seconds from the time of contact, 3-ish roughly, within probably a quarter second of that. From the time he has contact to sliding up across, he's all the way to hard 8. He'll go all the way to there. We don't even race up there, so he's sliding out of the way. 3 seconds. Justin Allgaier on Saturday gets turned down to the inside, sliding, hits the wall. Caution should have come out. They needed to get to him. It needed to come out. 3.5 seconds. In no man's land down there, off the racetrack. Go back to Daytona. Ross Chastain at the end of the 500 gets turned down to the bottom of the racetrack. As soon as he gets onto the apron, it's about 4 seconds until the caution comes out. 4 to 4.5 seconds. Quick.
That's a long time.
That's pretty quick. I mean, to call
4 seconds?
3 to 4 seconds is pretty good.
Imagine being late calling a block 4 seconds at Talladega.
But I mean, when
took
you see
Jesse
the
4
wreck, 3
seconds to
seconds
listen.
is pretty
Clear.
good.
1001, 1002, 1003,
That's pretty
1000.
fast to call a wreck. I mean, if you're looking at if Justin Allgaier starts spinning, is he going to hit? Is he not going to hit? As soon as you see the contact, you're
Button.
hitting, right?
Yeah.
So Ryan Blaney, they had it. He didn't even hit yet, and they threw it. Kyle Busch at Richmond didn't even brush the wall. They're protecting. And here, I don't like it because these wrecks in the dog legs and the tracks of Daytona, man, you don't know how they're going to be, and it just I don't know. It's scary to send guys through wrecks like that, and I don't. That's the part that whether you're winning or not winning, I mean, that's just quick. Need to be quicker on the trigger with that, in my opinion. But
How many seconds was it this weekend?
it was a lot. I mean, it went all the way to the line. So
I thought you won. I thought it was a little.
I thought the caution was to come out when I saw Corey Michael going up the track. I'm like, the caution is going to come out here. We're going to be in front. But it's
Here's what we don't know, and we talked about this in our NASCAR meeting when we got in trouble at Indy. We don't know who has the authority in those situations to throw the caution. I mean, I flat out said it. Is it the guy that's calling the race? Is it the race director? Is it an executive?
Series director.
Yeah, like who has the authority to say, put it out?
I don't know.
It's committee.
We don't.
Well, I mean,
That's why it takes 4 seconds.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think looking when Justin spun, it was about. I don't know if you can call it any quicker than that, because if he just saves it and he doesn't hit anything and he's down there in no man's land, then you threw a caution for basically nothing, and
but he's hitting pretty soon after he's wrecked.
well, as
When his
usual,
car is pointing toward the wall.
well, as usual, he finds the car finds the only point of the track where it has a, and they do a really good job of protecting these places, but the one point
worst
that has
part.
a little bit of an angle to it, and there's got to be points like that where that has to come out just a little bit, but of course he catches the very end of it.
We saw Justin Allgaier this past week at Pisces having sushi, me and my girls, and I sent them that clip of the wreck, and my girls, Keely was like, "Oh my gosh, did he die?" Because that was a nasty wreck. Thankfully,
Yeah.
he did not. He's
That got
obviously
right out,
okay.
yeah.
He immediately dropped his window net, but that was a scary one to watch.
Yeah, it was good to see him. I mean, there's been hundreds of wrecks these guys get out of, thankfully, and they do a really good job of. I mean, you can see the safer barrier there, and they do everything they can to keep these places as safe as they can.
Hey, NASCAR fans, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is here.
And right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you bet your first $5.
Just go to FanDuel.com/DBC to sign up.
Then you can bet on everything from individual race winners to prop bets to which driver's going to take home the championship, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use.
Start your engines with $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet.
Visit FanDuel.com/DBC to get started.
FanDuel, authorized gaming operator of NASCAR.
21 and up and present in NC. First online real money wager, only $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.gov.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has fast, reliable nationwide coverage as the leading carriers, but with plans as low as $20 a month.
And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. Let's go to the calls.
I just want to say I like the fact that Jesse Love and Tyler Reddick have won the race at Talladega. I think I'm going to go wax my girl's back. Hell yeah, baby, I'm coming.
What?
You inspire people,
I
Jesse.
too wax my girl's back. when I win
inspire
races,
people to wax people's backs. What do you call Tyler? Tyler
Reddick.
Air Reddick.
Three guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Freddie and TJ wadding up the whole field at a Speedway. All jokes aside, thank you both for doing that, because without you, that race would have had no highlights. Fix the super speedway. I don't know how you're going to do it, but the fuel mileage racing is terrible.
Amen.
Well, we're 3 wide and TJ's happy.
I'd rather have the strategy than 8 when he wide.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the problem is it doesn't matter. Like it's just a means to an end to run 2 by 2.
Like I said, though, if we get to that package, we're going to wreck. There's going to be 8 cars running in the race, and everyone's going to be like, why do they keep wrecking? It's because we're all over each other every
it's good.
single
I'd
time.
rather have that. It was more fun.
I don't know. I don't like that.
Hey, this is Inelegant Life calling from Arizona, and I wanted to say that mother***ing McDowell screws me every time. This week he himself, he Keselowski, he Ford, and he's going to be McDowell. All of that. God, what is up with that?
Shoo.
She sounded so nice.
Did she beep herself?
Did you beat
I
that?
beeped it. I beeped it.
I didn't know what she said. I just heard her continue
She
to beep.
sounded like such a sweet lady. at
Sounds like
first.
that's what me and TJ's
That was your
argument.
mom,
That's what me and
TJ.
TJ's argument's going to sound like.
I'm going to go and tell you, if you get in an argument with a woman like that, you're in some deep. You're in
You've
trouble.
been there?
Oh, I think we all probably have.
You ever listen back to the show? That's how you guys sound.
That's how we sound every
Yeah.
week?
Yep.
Hey, I was trying to look at my phone to see the leaderboard, but there's just no Wi-Fi over here. So, I mean, do I just take a guess?
Save the pylon.
We just need that one kid. We'll hire that one kid that's got the pylon in his living
That's
room.
what I was going to say. We just need to design him because that thing's awesome.
Yeah, bring him to the track.
Yeah.
Holy cow. What do you think the over-under is on how many dude wipes did Alfredo need when Austin Hill came across his nose? I'm giving you the line at 3.5. Holla.
I thought he did a really good job on Saturday. He was up there in the mix for a while. But yeah, he
did a good job both days.
They landed. Yeah, he did a good job yesterday. I don't even know where he finished yesterday.
6 or something, right?
Was it really?
It's like somewhere up front.
That's good.
Wide open. See where you end up.
That's all you got to do. But yeah, he did a good job on Saturday, I thought.
Man, do I love plate racing these days. Nothing goes together better than 50% commercials and 50% throttle.
22 commercials you said yesterday?
That's what I was told, 22 commercials.
What's
At
that?
roughly 2 minutes of commercials,
What's the-
45 minutes of commercials, 44 minutes.
I can't do math.
I don't know if that's normal for 3.5 hours of television.
That's a commercial every 8 laps. That's pretty good.
Boy. All right, this is our last one, I think.
Man, tuned into FS1 today for the commercials. It was awesome. Y'all see them commercials? Awesome. Every once in a while they had this Xfinity race. Some bullshit. Thank God we didn't see too much of it. But the commercials are great.
Can we not beep anything that guy said out? That guy was a first-time caller.
Was that
I
you?
think. No, that was not me.
That's what my text messages look like, so I just thought maybe that was you.
That's what Clint's messages look like. Clint
Do you
hates
think
me.
when
Clint used to love me. He hates me
Oh.
now.
I got in the middle of a Brett Clint pissing match the other day, and I was like, I got to bow out of this deal.
Oh, I'd love to hear about that one. Well, to leave an audio message, you know the drill. Call our number 704-802-9572. We'll keep picking the best ones each week. Moving on to Ask DBC. Send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC. We'll pick the best ones and ask our guys. First one is from Zach. Should drivers be allowed to dial each other up on the radio like they used to on super speedways?
No, that's a bad idea.
Man, that was fun though.
It was fun, but I wasn't even around that day. But it was fun to listen to.
Yeah, I don't know that they would use it for reasons they're not.
I was
going to
say it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be constructive. It would be stop holding our lane up. Like if Bubba was yelling all day yesterday at people, I was like, all right, just calm down. We'll be all
So
right.
do you know what we're talking about, Jesse?
Yeah, tandem days.
Yeah. I mean, you literally would be running 200 miles an hour,
Awesome.
and you would just dial it over to whoever you were tandem with and just start talking to them, man. It was
Nowadays, you just get cussed. Like, I would have gotten cussed out 4 times on Saturday.
at least.
Probably by Austin. After that late
Did you
block.
see him hit Mike Snyder? Because I don't think you want to piss Austin off.
Dude. So I used to box with Austin.
What?
Which was like stupid.
I was probably a bad
I was
idea.
like 16.
That's
And it was
that's a
like
bad
part of
idea.
our workout regime at when I was at Toyota. And he would just like basically put his hand on my forehead and I would just swing at him. And then he'd get one punch.
Like a
in.
little brother.
It was ridiculous. So I'll never fight Austin.
Good plan. Good. I like
that's
that
probably
plan.
a good
I
idea.
like
There's
that.
a couple guys that have probably said the same thing now.
After that pit road incident, I don't think anybody's really going to fight
gosh.
Austin.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
if you're gonna fight Austin, you better sneak up. You better like Matt Crafted him.
You better spider monkey on his back.
You better bring
better.
a friend is what you better do.
You better hide behind some tires or a pit boss, something, wait for him to walk by and then run.
Oh, this next one is from Jacob. What would removing stages at super speedways do to racing? Would fuel saving go away, or would it get worse?
That's a good question.
Well, why don't you answer it?
Oh, I don't.
He don't
I don't know.
He
So
gets,
if you
he gets to run wide open. So
If you just paid stage points where they're running, how does it play out?
The problem is, like, what I think a lot of people don't understand is the saving fuel is going to be the only exciting part of the day. Like, because if we just run wide open, we can't go anywhere. Like,
You're going to be really disappointed in the racing. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you get rid of the fuel saving, you're not going to have the comers and goers. You're not going to have the Ross drove and Denny drove from the back to the front. That was their strategy. Get up there real quick and try to maintain. Well, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different strategies going on at one time with that. You got the guys in the front that are leading. They probably don't want to be leading, but they are, and you can't really get out of it. So you're trying to drag the field back. It's still evolving a little bit. I mean, it is evolving because now we were going faster that last run than what I think people wanted to go too. So it is kind of changing a little bit. But I mean, if you go and make a big change right now, we're just going to find a way. The teams are just they're going to find the way around it. They're going to figure out how to spend the least time on pit road like normal because you can make up more time on the racetrack. You know, I mean, by not being on there very long. So
I wonder if the average fan, though, like when me and Brett are watching the race and we know they're not pushing, it looks really cool because they're 3 wide and there are comers and goers and the racing's great, except the only caveat is that we know they're not pushing hard. And I wonder if the average fan knows
TV
that too. If they're just like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Is Clint? Are they talking about that?
They're talking
So
about
Clint,
it. I wish they didn't.
There was a point yesterday where the leader was out front, and I don't remember if it was McDowell or who it was, but Clint made the comment of, "Oh, this guy's doing a great job of managing the runs behind him to stay in the lead."
It was probably John Hunter.
And they're running 173 miles an hour, and I'm like, "What the are you talking about?" I probably text him. Just say, Clint, what are you talking about?
I think John Hunter thought he was 2004 Dale Jr.
But he may as well do that because it did look cool on TV, to Jesse's point. But I was literally sitting there going, what's he doing?
But I mean, I bet Blanchard was up there like, man, like King Kong here. Look at me, guys.
When I got to Big Al's last night, Megan's like, man, Ryan's a good friend of mine. And he it's somebody that I helped kind of get along the way a little bit. And Megan's like, he was doing such a great job when they were leading. I'm like, we were running half throttle.
Yeah,
like,
it was easy.
But I mean, look, man, the fans that are watching on TV think he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like, but that's
what was
fine.
that spotter at times that swerve left and right? Coming to the checker flag. Like, that's what John Hunter was doing until he ran over you, Freddie, and wrecked your whole Toyota line.
James
So
Small,
I think
James
we
Small
should-
had the best comment on when I got on the plane last night. He's like, the one thing we didn't talk about in our meeting was don't all wreck each other. He's like, we should have brought that up. Maybe that should have been a bullet point.
Maybe just tell TJ's favorite driver that.
Is what was the other what'd you say last night, Blake? What'd that guy say? Like at the end of coming to the checker that Brad broke McDowell's ankles, like a basketball move.
There literally were 2 wrecks yesterday though, where I felt like it was on the spotter. When the 9 ran over Justin Haley, that looked like it was on the spotter. The driver had no idea they were checking up in the middle. And then obviously with John Hunter's deal, I felt like he didn't know the gaps out front, which is on the spotter.
But
and again, I haven't heard
they're
their
very
audio.
young in their spotting careers.
At the same time,
absolutely.
Like I didn't really. I had to go back and look at the chase one. I know he ran over in the back of Justin.
Oh, bad.
But at the same time, John Hunter, whether or not Blanchard was giving information about the gaps, and I went back and he did say quarter tight quickly in front of him. You got to know you can't. That's a spot you can't be pushing.
Yeah, you got to be off by that point.
You know, that's a spot entry to 3 over that tunnel. That's a spot you really can't just be, wide open up a guy's ass. Whether your spotter's doing his job or not, that's just something that you have to know.
Corner entry and the middle of the dogleg or the tri-oval on the front. Or I will say if a guy's running the bottom, and because if you got 2 good guys and they're pretty talented at pushing like that, you can do it. But if you get your right size on that seam in the bottom lane, like it moves the car.
It's like a fine line for the Toyota package, the Toyota deal we were doing, because like to make up the time on the pack, you have to be as tight as you could possibly be. And saw at Daytona when we ran, 3 cars basically tandem, and the rest were like tagging on, like we were much fast, half a second faster than anybody else in that practice. So obviously Daytona and Talladega don't exactly relate to each other, but so now you're trying to be as tight as you can be, but it's just you got to know, like you can't be that aggressive, and it's just obviously it's unfortunate and we look dumb, but you got to know you can't push there.
Well, Eric Jones obviously had a bad wreck there, so thinking of him, hoping he's recovering, and we'll see him back at the track soon.
Wouldn't it be great if we all had a voice in our head telling us when a pothole was coming up or helping you parallel park without curbing a tire? Like having one of us in your ear each time you drive. Your very own spotter. While you may get tired of hearing us talk, we know you won't get tired of eBay Motors.
eBay Motors helps everyone from a young driver just starting out to the most advanced car enthusiasts to even us, race team spotters. You can count on them to keep your car in peak condition and help fix all those dents and dings that may come along the way.
I remember when I just got my first car, I was so careful driving it around and making sure it stayed in pristine condition. Unfortunately, the inevitable happened and we needed to make a repair. Back in the day, I wish there was a resource like eBay Motors to help me find the part and product I needed to get the perfect fit and perfect repair. It may come as a surprise, but I wasn't always this car savvy, so a site as easy to navigate as eBay Motors would have been a lifesaver.
eBay Motors is here for you no matter what you're looking to do. Whether it's a unique customization or a regular maintenance need, eBay Motors has you covered. Go check it out yourself and see why they are the preferred marketplace.
Another cool thing that's available to everyone are the helpful DIY guides and blogs. Everyone can find something to check out and learn more about their four-wheeled best friends. eBay Motors is a community full of people that all have the same goal, keeping their ride or die running like new.
With over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof racks, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back.
Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash.
Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. Moving on to What an Idiot. Freddie, would you
I'll
like
let
to
these
take
guys
a
go
stab
first.
at that?
I gotta save mine for a minute.
TJ, it seemed like you had one.
TJ's
So-
got
I mean, Freddie's right up there with the leaders now. I mean, thinking a guy lifts on purpose to let someone else win.
What?
Wide open. Like wide open. Same thing that
So they just drove away from him at that point, or
I think the bottom lane knew how to build momentum when they needed to.
so they just the top lane Tyler and Martin just drove away.
They couldn't stay together. Like they couldn't.
No, my point is they drove away from the two Fords behind them. Like
Yeah.
what did
like
they do
it just
differently?
spread out. Like at the end of, remember a couple years ago, the end of 500 when we had Briscoe behind us and he just fell off of us. He never lifted either. But it's just how the runs work out.
I apologize. I forgot you're the man.
No, I'm just telling you, they know what they're doing, and I honestly, I want to give it to another guy that won, but this weekend.
Jesse Love?
No, Max won his first dirt late model race, right?
Yeah, he did a great
but,
job.
And then Max completely forgot that he bought tickets to go see, what's his name?
Tyler Childers.
No, he was in Buffalo this week with Drew. Who's Drew open for?
Oh,
Luke Combs?
Luke Combs.
Yeah, he bought tickets to the Luke Combs concert and totally forgot that he had them, and nobody ever got to use them.
Who did that?
Max McLaughlin, yeah.
Wow. That is pretty dumb.
Yeah, and so they couldn't have been cheap either, right?
No.
Oh, no. Not a chance. Unless Drew gave them to him.
No, I don't think he knows Drew. But yeah, so, that would probably hurt a little bit, but he probably made the money back this
I should give Drew Parker Clint's number because Drew always has. If y'all think I complain during the race, Drew Parker is who is opening act at a lot of Luke Combs concerts. He's Andrew's favorite singer right now, I think. Andrew's over there.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's very opinionated on his NASCAR stuff. He's very and he's got lots of ideas too.
I think we're trying to get him to come in here, but he's too busy for us.
He's just too big and busy. Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, I had two people, but we've already talked about them. The person who said tearing down the scoreboards is, a good idea, and the person who puts intervals when we look at the screen and we see how close everybody's racing. I don't need to know that the 6 is 0.06 seconds behind the leader. I need to know how fast they're running.
That's it. Jesse, got anybody want to call an idiot
that's
today?
it.
Maybe.
I'm not gonna.
Maybe yourself. You want to call yourself an idiot today, or
I don't know. I'm not gonna call anybody an idiot. I just thought it was because I got wrecked by John Hunter at Daytona in the same position, tight. Here comes the push, and I was just like, okay, here we go. So I'm not gonna call him an idiot because he's a Cup driver and I'm not. But I just thought that was
not ideal.
You made a comment earlier that you were, and I've heard other drivers say this too. You were committed to either staying in the lead or getting wrecked.
Yeah.
What? Like as a normal human being, which you're not, but as a normal human, like how do you do that? I mean, how do you mentally commit to at 190 miles an hour? I'm okay with getting wrecked.
I don't know. I think that obviously part of it's how we're wired, right? But at this other point, like I'm willing to take that chance. It means I lock into the playoffs. As a driver, there's a ton of things that are off my chest now that I'm locked in the playoffs. I was thinking about it more and more the last few weeks, because right now I'm third or fourth in points, but I'm probably not quite good enough to be third or fourth in points. Like we've been kind of digging out these finishes, and I probably thought I was going to slide down to about 6th or 7th, and then you just kind of get in that point where people can win their way in and push you out. So I know I can be championship ready by the end of the year, but I got to have that opportunity first. And there's just a lot of things are off my chest. So I was willing to wreck if it means I have a shot to lock in the playoffs now and go for wins the next few months until the playoff starts. And that's what I can do now is go race loose and not care. But I also haven't wrecked at a speedway, so I don't know how bad it hurts. So I don't care. I don't think about it.
Don't try it. It's not
it
fun.
sucks.
Sure.
Freddie, would you like to start your list?
Sure. No, I only have one guy on my list, and it started on Tuesday.
Oh no! What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Show's going to get shut down.
This might be our last episode.
I go to the bathroom.
There's a guy that was out there in the podcast world this week that called us morons, and
well, that's every week.
That's not the first
I don't exactly disagree with him, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. Welcome to the One Idiot segment.
Dale's great.
Yeah. Well,
my God.
Andrew's probably going to cut this right out of the show because he's a DJD employee now. But first of all, so Dale gets a lot of credit for this post that went out, a social post about how he's the old guard and he's drinking and it ended up on Pat McAfee show. They cut it right before he said he would never hire that guy. Like, I think he went on to say, like, if there's a guy that, if I found out a guy was at Saeed's on Tuesday and Wednesday, he's probably less likely to get hired. So, like, which one is it? Like, it's kind of hypocritical to say, like, that was how you did it and that you ran better that way, but now you wouldn't do that for somebody else. So I thought that was hypocritical. But Dale was having a bad show because he went on the whole show to say, like, how Texas was doing well and the track is getting ready to come in. and the track's getting better, and then he said we need more practice because Jimmy spun out and Jimmy needs more practice. And then they bring Chase Elliott on.
This was the best part.
As the guest, as the winner of the race, and Chase goes, "Yeah, the track still sucks. We don't need any more practice." Dale actually was funny because Dale said we need about an hour and a half, and then Chase has no idea what Dale said, I assume. And Chase is like, "Well, we definitely don't need like an hour and a half of practice." He said, I was dying laughing. And then he went on to call us morons. So I thought that was fun. He spent his whole show talking about how good the track was, and then Chase came on and kind of told him.
It seems somewhat better, right? I've only been there once, but
Texas.
It seems somewhat better than last year.
To me.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't understand. Like, I guess he was giving us because I said the race was entertaining, but not a good race. It was entertaining, Dale, because we had 47 caution flags, and restarts are entertaining. Yeah. Once we got strung out, that was the end of the entertaining part.
To me, that was way worse of a race than what Talladega was.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It was entertaining though because there's a lot of cautions, and that if it would have said Green and Larson laps up to 15th or whatever, it probably not very entertaining. You had your hands full in the beginning of that race.
Yeah, I was free, and he was just talking about manipulating people, right? Like in the Xfinity car, I was loose to start Texas, and people were packing air, and it makes it tenfold worse. And then once you piss off your tires, they don't come back right away. So yeah, that's probably the hardest thing actually about.
It's a lot of fun.
The jump to the Xfinity Series is not getting behind or getting ahead on the track.
Yeah,
because I was super free, then I was like screaming free, so we tightened it up, and then I was tight, and we couldn't get free back up for the rest of the day. You go to a place like Richmond, the track changes so much with rubber. You go around the second lane, and I thought I was going to lap the whole field, and you burn your tires off and core your right sides.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive how people can like Eric Amarola, a perfect example, like managing the weekend to where he's never I don't feel like lights out, like, damn, he's fast, but he's kind of just always ahead of the racetrack.
Yeah.
And then he's at the end really good.
These drivers that have been doing well know the swings the racetrack goes through and what it's going to turn into as the race goes. And you get longer runs it goes too.
Here's the biggest thing they know that you don't know is they know where their car needs to be at the end of practice.
Yeah.
To make them be where they need to be when they start the race. Mm-hmm. And that's a big advantage to them. So who's helped you the most over at RCR?
Honestly, everybody. The obvious answer is Austin. He's been a phenomenal teammate. I know there's that drama.
Austin Hill, not Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon too, but
right,
I'm talking mainly on Hill.
Yeah.
Even with his drama last year, I wasn't skeptical about it, but I was curious about how it was going to be. And he's been a phenomenal teammate to me. We talk almost every day of the week, and I think that's 95% of the reason why I've been pretty decent on the speedway stuff is just kind of talking to him. I watch primarily him and then Denny Hamlin. Those are like my two guys that I watch in the speedway world, and I try not to watch too many people because then I feel like you're getting 10 different golfer swings in your own head, right? So I try to just do two guys, but also like Denny Lawrence is over there. He runs kind of the Xfinity program, and he's phenomenal. And Mike Dillon, Andy Petrie, like all the people that run the place give me a lot of advice and feedback, not about the race car, but outside of it. And I appreciate that a lot. And obviously me and Stockman work, I feel like, perfectly together. He's a lot like me. We wear emotions on our sleeves for sure. Which sometimes makes us butt heads, but I feel like we work together perfectly.
Danny's been around a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
I know I'm sure Austin is helping you, but the reason why you run so good at plate races is because you're riding on a rocket ship, by the way.
It is impressive. Like, I was thinking if I were to qualify 10th or 12th, I'd probably have to ride the brake pedal.
Yeah. You want to know how
cars are so fast.
You want to know how good those cars are?
Yeah.
When Austin is waving at the camera down the back straightaway and throwing up the peace sign during qualifying because he knows he's going to ready to beat by everybody by a half a second. That's how fast your car is.
Yeah.
But I will say though, the guys used to build cars specifically for these tracks, and they'd spend a lot of time on them. And I've worked in the shop. I've been part of fast cars you spend hours on these things, and it's not. It was a work of art when you went to these places and ran that fast. And sometimes you had a really good car and you were able to stay up front. Other times you got wrecked, but you could manipulate a lot more things by the work effort into the car. And Man, fabricators could build some really good cars.
The impressive part about RCR's Xfinity stuff is how fast they are, but I feel like my car drives the best in the field. Like I can do whatever I want. Like we give up nothing. Like we gain all the speed, we give up nothing in the handling of the thing.
I said to somebody on the way home from the Xfinity race, I said, there's nothing more discouraging than, it's obvious, the RCR cars are the best. Those two cars, the 48, even the Collie cars are good, like, the people that, the alliance with RCR. But there's nothing more discouraging when they're the fastest cars. Oh, and by the way, they get the best fuel mileage. Everybody else is running against Jesse ran forever. You know what I mean? I mean, he did a good job saving, obviously, but everybody was saving. Like a lot of times you see like guys that, all right, this car's hauling ass, they got the best engine package, but they're giving it up somewhere else. They're getting bad fuel mileage to get that. These guys just haul ass and have the best fuel mileage.
Well, it's very obvious that their commitment to speedway racing is very high. There are organizations in the Xfinity Series that win a lot of races that they don't have the commitment to it because they know the odds of you tearing those cars up are pretty high. I was at Robert Yates Racing when they developed a super speedway year-round package, and they put 2 guys on it, and, man, we were stupid fast every time we went somewhere. So those cars look fun to drive. That's for damn
Best
sure.
thing is you get to put a cover on that thing and take it back. Or no, you don't run Talladega again. Run Daytona.
Run Daytona, too, yeah.
We don't run Talladega twice?
No.
Oh.
Maybe they do now. No, they do.
Yeah, do they? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they do. They didn't used to, but they do now. Used to be truck one, Xfinity the other, but now it's both times, I believe.
You are obviously friends with a lot of up-and-coming drivers like yourself, such as Connor, Zillage, Brett Cruz, a ton of others we could probably list. Who from, that small group do you see really making their way up to the Cup Series, being that champion in the future?
Yeah, I don't have many friends, but I feel like the friends that
it's okay, buddy. We'll be your friend.
that I have, I'm really close to.
Yep.
And Connor and Brent are 2 very good friends of mine, and they both have a really good shot to make it. I think that like Brent did a really good job winning the Cars Tour race this weekend, and Connor's having a really phenomenal season himself. But they get compared a lot. Obviously, Connor's 3 years older than him, I think, or 2 years older than him. But they're both really good. I mean, Connor's probably the most talented race car driver that I've ever raced against, and Brent, his racecraft is really smart. He doesn't always think a lot outside the car, but when it comes to golf and racing, Brent is really intelligent and makes up a lot of good decisions doing that. So Connor just needs to work on executing, I think, a little bit, not doing a coda all over again. But he's so fast, and Brent's got a good head on his shoulders too. So they're both really good, and I think our little friend group, we're all running really good at what we're doing. And I think that we're kind of not motivating each other, but we're all running good, so we're all making each other run better.
I've seen Brent run Millbridge, and I question his intelligence at times.
Have you seen Jesse run Millbridge?
Well, Brent, he was like 13 or 14 the first time I seen him run, and he's just out there ripping the boards, and I'm like, this kid, you could tell he has not crashed.
So
Zero fear.
You 3 on the track, dirt or asphalt, who wins?
I think I'm the least talented of the group. I think I'm a lot.
You can block them.
I'm a lot smarter than they are, and I'm a lot more perfected than they are. But I mean, road racing, I cannot hold a candle to them. But everything else, I feel like, I can just out racecraft them right now. But road racing, I mean, they are really, really good. Connor showed how good, and Brent's as fast as Connor. Like if they were both in the truck race, they both would have run that same way. Brent probably could have executed and done a better job there, but how fast they both are is ridiculous. And you're going to see Connor probably do the same thing at Watkins Glen, the Xfinity car, and I'm just trying to catch up to him at this point. But like Watkins Glen last year, he was almost a second faster in the ARCA car, and it was ridiculous. I don't know where you find a second, but they're both really fast, and the more road racing they do, the oval stuff is different. I'm not saying they're going to be like that fast on an oval, but the road racing stuff is ridiculous how fast they are.
Speaking of Watkins Glen, TJ, didn't they fix the chicane for you?
Oh yeah.
What'd they do? They moved the.
They
just removed.
Just make it straight. I mean,
they removed the curbs.
Yeah.
On the entry. Like entry to bus stop, the one on the right, like you hug that inside.
So we're gonna play that game of you're too far right and you're black
have
flag.
That picture?
God.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it anymore. It's bad.
It's flat.
It's flat.
I mean, we didn't really. I mean, I think they did it because it was
What was wrong
beating the
with it?
drivers up a little bit because they're jumping over it and landing, and it was kind of probably
Just
their
aggressive.
back. I would
Guys.
assume.
Yeah.
The bus stop used to be a craft too. Like you went through there and you had to be good at how you like precise.
Yeah, I guess
Not anymore.
They just straight send it.
Well,
It's straight, basically.
let's chat DBC picks. Thank you, TJ, for getting me my win with Keselowski. Finishing second. We're moving on to Dover this weekend, and Brett, you get to go first.
I do. Well, I was sitting over here pondering.
You're gonna go Ty Gibbs.
Do I want to go Ty Gibbs or do I want to go Chase Elliott or do I want to go Alex Bowman? Because those are the three drivers I have left under the HMS and Toyota banner that just so happen to be pretty fast. So which one would you pick?
I've raced against Ty at Dover, and he's really good. I think Ty is going to be hard to beat.
Ty Gibbs.
Don't forget this is
Ty Gibbs
this is
gets
the
his-
Cup Series.
Ty
but
Gibbs gets his
gonna be
first
tough.
win ever this weekend, and Kyle Larson finishes
Ty's
second.
not
I
doing
see
no
that all
good.
three of y'all have
It's just
Kyle
harder.
Larson left. And Kyle Larson, to me, is the second best driver to ever drive at Dover behind Jimmy Johnson. Tony Stewart, a very close third. So which one of y'all are picking Larson? Who's next?
Freddie? Half asleep over there?
Yeah, sneak up on you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
What are you,
trying to talk
you over there
me into-
lifting?
Rich, I'm lifting. Backing up.
I don't know who that is.
Let's take Kyle Larson.
I don't know what took so long right there. What were you pondering?
I didn't really want to
I'll
take
go
him.
with Martin Truex.
That's what I wanted to pick, and I didn't realize I picked him again. I probably didn't want to double pick for the second time this year. Did you get a text yet? Or?
Who you got left, Casey?
I would go Christopher Bell. As long as I didn't pick him yet.
Well, we knew at some point this year that was going to happen.
I know, right?
Anyways, as we head to Dover, what can we expect as we watch on TV or at the track?
Tight behind somebody.
Yeah, no, you can't. Xfinity race will be good. Is there Xfinity race this week? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Xfinity race will be good.
Arca's Friday. Xfinity Saturday.
Arca East or something.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
You don't think Reddick can go back to back here?
I mean, he could. Very easily could.
He could, yeah.
I was looking at stats. Trey Ryan 99 on Twitter sent us, and Trackhouse. 2311 was the fifth fastest team in the modern era to win 6 races. Took them 118 races. Behind Stuart Haas, Hendrick, Penske, Trackhouse. And Stuart Haas and Trackhouse were already in business. 2311 started ground up. And I say that as like Stuart Haas Racing was already in business. Chip Ganassi Racing was already in business when Trackhouse bought it.
I almost feel like that's not always a positive, though, because not always, because when Denny started 2311, he had phenomenal backing partner, and the information that was carried over there was already from fast cars. So it's not like he just started from scratch with a brand new team and, or with a bad car. Like Denny already knew how to make cars go fast, knew what they were doing. There's a obvious connection with JGR right there. So
yeah,
but you still got to put all the pieces together, and it's good for them to.
I think winning 6 races that fast is a good thing. I don't know how you say it's bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just I don't think it was as hard for him. It'd have been probably harder if he left there and went and started himself, because I don't know if they'll probably look at him as more of a competitor at that point. Obviously they would have, but him being associated with JGR and the ties with that, they have fast cars.
Denny's no idiot either. It's probably all on purpose.
He's great. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
MJ made a funny comment in his interview after the race about Denny wrecking. It's like kind of helped him win or something.
So we had this plan all pit together, and if there's and it was like
couldn't tell.
you needed certain numbers of certain number of cars to make it work, and we were giving Denny because we're like if we do this, like you can't speed, you can't mess. Tyler, we're giving basically Denny and Tyler. Like Tyler has a habit of
Both of them that'll do the same.
Yeah. So our pre-race meeting, we were like giving him stuff about it, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'll be fine." And the first pit stop, he spins out. Second one, I don't know what happened. They came off way behind us, lost the draft again. I was like, hopefully when it comes
he
time
drove
to do this,
by his pit box.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
It was his first time pitting.
ever.
Should that be an honorary wooden idiot?
That actually should be. How do you drive? It's not even full.
No, I'm talking about something else.
Oh.
I was talking about,
No.
did you see the race yesterday? During the race, is this during the race this happened? Colleague Racing tweeted out, cautions out, all the Toyotas just wrecked themselves with this laughing emoji. Joke's on you, who won the race? Just saying.
Yeah, that didn't age very well. It was aging very badly until the last 300 yards.
Well, if you'll be at Dover or thinking about heading to Dover, you can catch myself, TJ, and Freddie at the Trackside Access Stage on Sunday before the Cup race at 11 a.m. We might have a few special guests coming by. Yes, Freddie. So make sure you stop drinking with adequate time in between.
See what I can do.
8 hours, right, Brett?
At least 8 hours.
I'll be in a bar like.
And if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, or still thinking about going to Dover, this is obviously your reason to stop by.
And the weather.
Want to miss it?
Looks actually good.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to
Dover's
look.
such a cool racetrack.
It is.
Like
racetrack.
if you watch them go off into 1 and go off into 3, like it looks like a roller coaster almost.
Yeah, you literally feel like you get, when you're going down the road and you kind of go up and down the winding
Tickle
part,
heels?
Yeah, you get like little.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like getting in the corner. It's terrifying.
Makes you do funny feel.
Like what?
Wow, I've never had that happen.
Guys, we're trying to get people to go to our period.
This is gonna get them to go.
Yeah, that's right.
So weather looks good in Dover for Sunday, especially. It's supposed to be mid-high 70s, sunny. So that
perfect.
That's subject to change because it is Dover and it normally rains and makes.
I'm going to a wedding in Georgetown, South Carolina this weekend. My nephew Troy's getting married.
Troy's getting married?
Yeah.
Troy.
I'll keep this short, but long story short, I have a bourbon tasting at my house, and we tasted 14 bourbons, and then we obviously proceeded to keep having fun. And Freddie, typical Freddie, goes, "Man, I want to go to Saeed's," and I'm like, "I'm out."
Oh. That's not how this happened. Troy said he had never been, and I said, "Okay, we got to take him."
So nonetheless, I look at Freddie. What did I tell you before you left my house?
Don't do it.
I said, "Do not do it. If you take him to this bar, what's going to happen?"
Get in a fight.
Guess what happened?
Got in a fight.
You can't take a Griffin to a bar like that at 1 a.m. when he's been drinking all day.
He's one of them guys.
I don't know how we
Okay.
started talking about Saeed's, but don't forget
Every week.
Dover Motor Speedway, 11 a.m. on the 28th. You need to get your trackside access pass to be able to attend the appearance. So don't forget.
We'll share the link.
Be sure and go play craps on Friday evening. There'll be some drivers in there.
You know what was really cool? The one time the guy from Grotto, whatever you want to call it,
Grotto
sent us up some vouchers for pizza. Remember they gave us some little free pizza.
I wasn't
things?
there for that.
Yeah. Leave it. I promise you, at some point, Tab Boyd will come to the roof with an entire sheet of pizza and be giving them up.
The best Grotto story ever is Lambert. Did you ever hear the story of Lambert?
Oh, no. I think I have.
So Lambert,
it's good.
They had a deal. Lambert walks up, gets a slice of pizza and a Coke. And I forget what they said the deal was, but I forget how the prices worked out. But literally, they're like, "You sure you don't want? We got a deal: 2 slices and a Coke for $10." And there was no deal. Like it was the same price if you just bought 2 slices. And Lambert's like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I'm like, "You just spent an extra $3." Like it was like $3 for a slice.
Deal.
It's like $3 a slice and $4 for a soda. Like, you sure you don't want a $10 for 2 slices? And I was like, "You idiot!"
Well, we could all take selfies with a piece of pizza for some free vouchers or something.
Deal. Thank you, Jesse, for stopping
having
by.
me.
Congrats on your win.
Yeah.
Good luck
Xfinity.
at Dover. We'll see y'all at the Trackside Access stage on Sunday. Stay tuned for another great weekend of racing.
We'll be back
I
Monday.
also just want to say, Trackhouse Fan Club wants to personally thank Brett for
forgot. You gotta
unblocking him on the show last week, and he says that I think we're best friends now.
You got to unbox somebody.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's you said you were going to do one.
Well, it'll take too long because I don't know how to get back to that
I don't know if
screen.
you noticed, but you probably only saw 4 replies. I had 250 replies to that. Are you blocked by Brett? Thread?
You didn't have many.
And if you're Lala Moore, thank you for sending me the Reese's dip pretzels. I don't know who stole them, but
Reese's?
Yes, apparently we have a package
Is that how you say that?
of food.
Reese's?
I think
I thought it was Reese's.
Reese's.
Reese's?
Yeah, that's for Reese's.
Thank you for sending them.
We
It's
love
Reese
Lala.
cups. It's not Reese's cups.
Reese's
Okay.
peanut butter
Reese's?
cup. Yeah.
Anyways,
Reese
thank
Pieces.
you. I'll be eating them all
boy.
day.
That's idiot.
Have a great week.
Yep. See you after Dover.
Yeah, holla.